All right, guys, welcome to Jenny's Rules. I've got a very special guest today, Jessica Bean. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited.
Finally.
Finally. It's been a while, but that's okay.
I'm sorry.
No, listen, and I can't believe how many people I have had on here already.
That's amazing.
And I'm booked throughout the whole month of November, so it's, I know, I'm loving
awesome.
it. It's super fun. But with the how many years you've been in the business, let's just start with the number. What's the number?
Oh, boy. That's kind of putting me on the spot. Let's put it this way. I've been in the business since 2011.
Okay.
Don't make me
Let's do some
calculate
math.
now. Since 2011. And I started at Century 21.
Yep.
And I was a single agent. I don't know if you know this, but I have my degree in interior design. And that's where I started.
No way.
And I was renovating houses, and an agent came to me and was like, hey, you should really get into real estate. And so they encouraged me to get in.
No
and
way.
That's how I got in. And so I kind of like quit remodeling as many houses for people and went into doing real estate.
Ah, that was one of my questions, like how you got, so it wasn't even like you got it offered to you.
Well, somebody thought that I should be in real estate. They didn't really make me an offer, but they encouraged me.
But
so.
I mean, got you in the mindset of it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I have always loved real estate, but I was very straight focused on interior design. But then I did design here for a while and realized there's very little money in it. And so when that came up, I was like, absolutely.
It's time.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school at then?
So I went to school in California for, I think, a year to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising. Ooh. And then I came back up here. I came home for the summer, and I'm not really meant to be a California girl. It was a school of mainly all girls driving Mercedes, and that's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And I really couldn't handle just like the warm and lukewarm weather. So I realized I'm more of a Four Seasons girl. Mm-hmm. So down there, you were only getting an associate's degree also. And so just all the things were adding up. And so I came home for the summer, put all my stuff in a storage unit, and never went back for it.
No way.
No.
Was your stuff in one of those storage unit
auctions? It probably was on a storage war, seriously.
Was there anything good in it?
I don't even remember, to be honest. But I came home, and then I transferred to University of Idaho, and I got my bachelor's degree in interior design and my associate's degree in architecture, and then came back to Lewiston.
Wow. Well, and you're from here.
Yep.
Born and raised.
Yep.
And you decided, I mean, you have now a family, you're staying here.
Yeah.
And was this where you are at now, what you pictured when you first started into the real estate business?
I think after I came back from California, I was like, I am not meant for the big city. Like, I want trees, I want Four Seasons, I want to raise my kids in like more of a community. But that was then. I know where I would love to be, but it's not really an option. If I had it my way right now, I would totally live in Coeur d'Alene. That's like my dream place to live. But Lewiston it is.
In Lewiston it is?
Yes.
They have in Coeur d'Alene almost like everything. So close.
And there's trees, and there's water, and there's
shopping,
hiking, and there's
food.
Yes, all the good things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did the zip lining for my bachelorette party years ago, and I want to go back. Super bad. Have you done it?
Oh, yeah, a couple times.
Super fun.
Yeah.
So you then, 2011, how long were you at Century 21 before now you were at KW?
So do you want me to kind of tell how that kind of happened?
Sure.
And when it happened?
I love that.
I was tried and true, never leaving Century 21 ever. I loved Wendy. I loved my office. I had no complaints. And in 2016, I got picked for Realtor Magazine 30 Under 30, which is a really big deal because it's the whole United States, and they pick 30 real estate agents under the age of 30. And I was like, small town Idaho is never going to win this. And the craziest part is I forgot about it. So I got online, and it was due, I want to say it was due like in a week or a day or something crazy. And I was like, oh, shoot. Because you have to submit a video and do all these things.
You do?
And so I was like, you know what? This is my last year in my 30s. Like, I have to give it my all. And so I submitted my application, and I was shocked when I got Realtor Magazine 30 Under 30. I'd say that's probably like one of my biggest accomplishments. And at the time, I had no clue how much that one thing would actually like totally change my life. So I got Realtor Magazine, I think it was in 16. And I went to an event, a Realtor Magazine event for 30 Under 30s. It was a mastermind. And I met this guy named Trent Zimmer. And while I was there, we just became really good friends. And honestly, like, I had no intention of ever leaving Century 21. I was happy. I just didn't have an intention. Well, when I was there was really not very many Century 21 agents. And there was agents with what I had no clue was Keller Williams and other companies. And Trent had gone to Keller Williams. And so while I was there, he just kept like telling me more and more. And I'm just like baffled at like what Keller Williams offers, like that they have a cap and like just how they have a referral system and just their all
structure.
The things. Yeah, it's just was so mind blowing because when I was with Century 21 back then, it was just all traditional models. Lewiston, Idaho is like 20 years behind in real estate.
Absolutely.
And so he's like, can I set you up an appointment with someone in your area, and like Spokane? And I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. So I get home and he's like, Jess, you have to just at least have a conversation. So finally I'm like, okay, well, fine, I'll have a conversation. So my team had no idea that we were even having these conversations. Like, it was so tight-lipped, they had no clue. So one day I told them I had to do something in Spokane, went up, had a meeting there, met this guy named Chase Williams, sat down with him and Bruce. Bruce is this incredible Australian man with this amazing Australian accent. He totally won me over.
Talk forever.
But we're sitting at the table that day, and sometimes I think just godly things happen. And we're sitting there, and Chase looks at my husband, and he's like, do you have a brother? And Kyle's like, yeah. And he's like, is his name Scott? And Kyle's like, yeah. And he was like, he was my high school roommate. I lived with him.
What?
Yeah. So we left that meeting, and just like, it was so wonderful. And I looked at Kyle and I was like, I don't even need to talk to anybody else. Like, this is like meant to be. There's a reason that everything's working out how it is. And so from there, like, that was really, really hard because I was very, very loyal to Wendy in the office. And I, to this day, appreciate everything that they've done for me. But just the opportunity that it gave myself and my husband, and truly, like, the structure of it, in my mind at that time, I'm like, what it would do for me and Kyle, but what it would do for the other agents in our town would be life-changing financially, and I would be doing a disservice to everybody if I didn't explore this. Mind you, at the time, I have no leadership skills, and I have a lot to learn, but I'm pretty motivated, so I'm willing to give it a try.
Yeah.
After that, we came home, and it happened really fast. We had the conversation, and I think within 4 months, our doors were open. And so I think, again, I'm really bad at timelines, but we didn't move into our new building. We moved in, we leased a little building underneath Loman Accounting for a while.
That's right.
And then opened up and grew. And then I was supposed to list the firehouse, and COVID happened, and we ended up not listing because we got shut down. And then she called one day and was like, hey, we got to list the property. And I'm like, I actually think I might want to buy it. And so that's how that happened, and we ended up buying it and opening our doors, and here we are, 35 agents later.
I know.
And it's amazing. It's the biggest blessing of our lives in so many ways.
So crazy. I love that, though. Yeah. And I'm very much a signs person or feeling. That's me. And if that's handed to me that I didn't ask for, it's like, this is then meant to be. So to have that for you in your journey is fantastic. Yeah. And to go with your gut.
Well, I kind of drive people crazy. If you don't know me, I live based on my gut. Like, every decision I make is based on my gut. Like, to the point I drive my husband nuts because he wants facts and numbers. And we literally had this conversation this week. He's like, I just want to know the facts. And I'm like, I just know that I can do it. So
just no numbers, just go.
So all these things, it was up to that point, it was honestly based on gut.
Yeah.
And a little on numbers too, but like, I just knew I knew I could do it, and I knew the benefits, and I knew that I was going to be able to change so many people's lives. And I'm like, we just have to do it. No matter what it takes, we have to do it. So, yeah.
So growing the team.
Yes.
What did you do in terms of preparation to be like a team leader?
There's no playbook for that.
I know. That's why I'm like, where did you start in that
So
whole...
are we talking like the office or the team?
Let's talk about the team.
Okay. Well, the team, I would say, literally, there's no playbook for that. And I think whether it's the office or it's the team, I think the biggest thing I've learned in everything I've done is like having a coach and always learning from somebody 2 or 10 steps ahead of you is like something you have to do. Like when my husband wasn't in real estate and I would be like, I'm going to get a coach. He's like, we do not need to spend money on that. And now he's in real estate, and we have multiple coaches that we pay a lot of money to. And really it's like, you have to have somebody ahead of you that can at least guide you a little bit. And I'm not to say that every coach has led me down the correct path or given me the exact tools I need. They've all propelled me forward, but I've learned something different from each of them. When we started the team, it was really out of like desperation, like, I think we need this role. Let's hire this one. Let's hire this one. And over the years, I think what I learned is, well, one, you learn leadership and you learn how to communicate with people. I mean, everyone that's worked with me will tell you 3 years ago, 3 years ago, I was not the best leader because I am a high D. Like you get stuff done and you just get stuff done. Like I'm not like, can you tell me why? And so that's really hard. And like learning that other people are different, they could be an I, they could be an S, and they need to be communicated with different. And I think that's been the biggest game changer in our business over this past year is implementing, using the DISC test in our business.
Yeah.
We've learned there cannot be another D on the team. I can be the only D.
That's it.
And the reason that is just because it's just butting of the heads constantly.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with Ds. It's just when you're trying to build a business, you need to build it with different types of people that support each other and
absolutely
want the same thing. And so I'd say really like implementing some of those tools has been like the biggest game changer for us. And then just as far as like making it grow and succeed, just learning like it's kind of always evolving. Like we set weekly coaching meetings, and we're like holding lead gen time, and we have every morning we have a huddle. And I think the one biggest impactful thing we do every day is every single morning at 8:45, our entire team is in the office standing up. We go around and say like, what is our big thing for the day? But the biggest thing is we talk about our wins and our gratefuls every single day. And like no day, well, besides Friday, do we not do that? And I think like it's more to us. Our team is more to us than numbers. It's like our family and God and the things that what are we doing in our life and how are we enjoying it? That comes first. And the numbers come second. However, you got to have the numbers to be able to fund those things. And so just making sure we're starting our day in a way that we're connecting, talking about our families and what's filling our cup and just all that stuff. And so I don't know. It's been an evolution of trial and error. And I have to say, like, I'm so grateful for the people that have been on my bus. I've learned so much from them. And I have great relationships with most of them. And they're doing great things even if they left. But now I feel like in this last year, we're just so dialed, and I feel like we're creating something so impactful, and things have just pivoted so much that I'm just really super excited. I'm excited about who's on our bus, why they're on our bus, their motivations, and like us helping them get to where they want to go. And they show up every day.
Yeah.
And they put in the work, and I don't have to beg them to, and that's super exciting.
Right.
So.
Well, and it's more on that. To me, it seems like if you have that backing of that team to give you that encouragement, and you have people to go to if you have questions, and you have some resources available to you and not just feel like you're alone.
I think that's with the team. That's the thing I love the most. Everybody's there. We have this thing where we're there from 8:45 until noon every day, Monday through Thursday. Friday's a flex day. So if we've done the things we say we're going to do, we can flex our Friday, work from home, or do whatever. But in a market like we're in right now, it's so easy to go home. And it's so easy to not do the actions because of the scarcity mindset. But when you show up and you're doing the uncomfortable things, like making 2 hours of lead gen phone calls to people to find business, and you're getting ready to host events, and we're sending letters, and we're doing postcards, and we're just, helping each other with CMAs, and we're going on appointments together, and we're filming the videos, and we're doing the content. And when you're doing it together, it's so much easier. When you're, like, for us personally, when we're doing it alone, it's just not as enjoyable. Right. And it's harder when it's hard.
It's so true.
And so when you can show up and have people there supporting you, like, you want to show up, and the hard doesn't seem so hard.
Right.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned with the times that have changed, what has been a huge impact with that happening in your career?
Can you define kind of
like more on like the terms, like when you started doing more of that investing and in your realm and you as your
I think
growth.
Like my role in all of that, is that what you're thinking?
Yeah.
I would say I feel like it's kind of twofold. Like, how are the times affecting it, or kind of what's my role now? Are you thinking?
I think time's affecting it.
Okay.
Into turning it into what it is now,
I think what I have realized is that time's affecting. I think just showing up together and doing the hard stuff together, I think, is so much easier. Last year it was just feast or famine, and you showed up and you just did the work. And now it's not as much like that. And so I think the things that we're doing differently in this moment is preparing. So dialing in our systems, models, tools, making sure everybody is using the same thing. Like, our team is dialed. Like, we get an accepted offer. There is a form that gets filled out. It gets sent to Erica. Erica knows what to do from there. Our transaction coordinator, she's a rock star. She does her part. Like, we use specific forms when we're going to take a listing, and they go out before our listing appointments, before our showings. Like, we are just so working on all the details so that our clients have such an A++ experience. I'd say that's kind of where we pivoted, because we're not feast or famining like we were before.
Right.
It's like we are working on the business because we have the time to.
Perfect the craft.
We're perfecting our craft, because I was meeting with an agent today, and I was telling her, I said, right now, I want to build our team and our foundation so strong that the second that light switch flips, you guys are going, and you're not trying to catch up figuring out, what are we doing? You already know what we're doing, and you are killing it. And so I think that is just where our team, is set apart a little bit, is like, we have systems, models, and tools and processes. We're not just flying by the seat of our pants.
Right. Or feeling lost in when the times do change, which is, it's the part of the business. There are down times, there are good times.
Yeah.
But being able to flex in that comfort zone, in those in-betweens, that's how I'm learning. I started in a very bad time.
Yeah.
Things took a dive right when I got going.
Yes.
So now this is all I've known.
Oh, I kind of started on the tail end of that. And that was a real positive, though, because if you can learn how to get through the hard, the good times are going to be incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Incredible.
I know. And for you to see, that structure now going into your stuff now, and where you are in the role of the business, where does what's the definition?
So I have been going through an evolution. Like, I've been trying to just be the leader for a while, but I think that the hard part is I was still trying to grow the business and figure out how to train and get people in the roles they need to be in while trying to step out. And that was just too soon, too fast. And so I would be like, okay, I'm gonna step out. And then be like, okay, I'm gonna be back in. And so like I told you, not very many people know, but I just took a sabbatical. I took 2 months off. And really what I had to do was, life has just been so crazy because my mind goes a million miles a minute. And I had no time to think or process or figure out what I wanted or anything. And so one day I just went to my husband and I'm like, I have to ask you for something. And I was like, I need you to not respond. And so he was like, okay. So I was like, I think I need to take a sabbatical. And he's like, okay. I'm like, don't respond. And he's like, okay. He's like, I think we can make that happen. And so we just had like a really healthy conversation around me taking some time off. And it was more about the big picture of what came after the time off that, I really had to like paint that landscape. Like, why am I doing this? And how is it going to benefit us and all the things? And so I took time off and really reflected, like, how do I feel like I was at the spot where I'm like, I have grinded and tried to prove myself for everybody for so many years. And I'm at the spot where I'm like, I don't want to prove myself anymore. And it used to be all about Jessica Biehn and like the awards and all the things. And I'll be honest, like, I hate to say this out loud, but I've thrown every single award I ever received in the dumpster. I don't have them. I hate them. I despise them.
Stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And so I'm at this point where I'm like, okay, I don't care about the awards. I want to be recognized because I'm impacting people's lives and I'm changing their lives and I'm making a difference in their lives, not because I sold 100 homes. And so I was trying to figure out, like, how do I take what I want internally and make it so I can still make money and really impact people's lives. And so I love impacting people's lives and selling houses and lots of them. But what I found was that connection wasn't long enough and I wasn't making a big enough impact that it fulfilled me. Mm-hmm. And so by growing this team and knowing that when I came back, I had to do things differently, like, that's been a game changer for me. And so, like, I am taking very, very, very little clients right now. Like, people that I've worked with multiple times and I have a very deep connection with, I'm still going to take them, or Kyle's going to take them. But most people I'm handing off to my team. And the great thing is like, with my team, I have such incredible agents. I literally trust every single one of them to handle anybody I had. And so what that allows me to do is be more of a leader. And over the past couple of years, the struggle has been just producing, just growing a team, just running an office. And when you do too many things, you don't do anything well. And so realizing I'm at this point where if I can grow these people and change their lives and help them have big lives, but still do it in a way that allows me not to take these people, do a little less, but do everything better, like, that's kind of the sweet spot I'm at. And so I am trying to be more of the leadership and coaching. And Kyle does the coaching as in like the weekly numbers and things like that.
He's good at that.
Yes. He's numbers. Where me, like, I want to change your life. Like, I want to know the nitty gritty. And like, what can I do every week to make sure you're moving the needle to change your life? So with our team, that's kind of what I'm doing. And then with the office, not taking clients and being in 5,000 appointments, I can actually show up and do a better job. Not that I haven't done a good job. I just know that I could do a better job. I still feel like we have the most incredible office, and honestly, the things that we're doing together and the impacts we're making, like, that's huge. But I just want to be a little bit better. And so making that choice allows that time for that. I'm not gone all day, looking at houses that are going to be listed. I'm in the office, I'm available.
Right.
I'm, scheduling the Christmas party and doing the office meetings with Heather and things like that. So
you're in the nitty gritty, and the way that I'm hearing it,
yes.
You had this goal, you had this strive to be the best, to do the best, and you hit that. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, what else can you strive for to fuel your fire,
I think it's so typical that an entrepreneur is striving for something and then they think they're going to be fulfilled when they get to the mountaintop, and then you get to the mountaintop and you're like that
now
did nothing
what,
for
right?
me. To be honest, I've always had this stigma around who I am, and being on the top was a horrible feeling. Just the way people treat you and the animosity they have. And so being on the top to me is not something I enjoy. I don't want to be competing with the next agent for the popularity contest, or I don't want them to feel like they can't be my friend because I'm number one. I don't want that in my life anymore.
Right.
And for so many years, that's how it felt.
So negative.
Yes. And so now I just really want to be at a point where I can lead and have these really great relationships with all the agents, and just be more focused on people and not competition. But helping everybody succeed.
But that personal growth.
Yeah.
That's
way more fulfilling. Helping others is more fulfilling than winning yourself. All day long.
Right.
That's going to fill your cup more than you being the one at the top.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing. It's a lonely place at the top.
Right. But to,
it really is.
to have your strive be so strong in that, in being able to even like adjust everything in your life. You know, Kyle, he is now working with you, your husband, and it's like
my husband is a saint.
Before he wasn't, so it's like how much you guys have built to be able to have that strive to lead. And I see it. You know, I bought my first house through you.
You did so many years ago.
2017.
Oh my gosh.
No, isn't that wild?
That is wild.
And so me now being in the industry and just knowing that I know you, it's like, I feel very privileged that you were wanting to, you know, come and talk to me. But I love hearing your story and how you're now on this focus, and it's empowering to me, and because I feel very small in this big old world of bubble of the realm that Lewiston and Clarkston have. Again, like you said, we're 20 years behind everybody else in everything.
We are,
but just to feel like I could make a dent or, you know, improve someone's life. I have that strive to, you know, be the best, but then it's like I would rather love everybody, know everybody, even the people in my work realm and under lending. Like, I don't want this to be this unspoken rival. It's like I want to be able to enjoy times with everybody, you know, and going 100%. To events. Everybody goes to the same events, it seems like. So I feel that so deep. Yeah. So that was hopefully lights a spark under my butt, but I love that. So let's get into like maybe the investing stuff.
Perfect. We want to talk about the office at all?
We could.
I feel like we should.
Before we
go to investing.
I know. I kind of like totally,
turned. Yeah. What do you want to know about the office?
I want to know the year that you opened the building.
Yes.
What year was that?
That was 2019, September 2019. And it was crazy. We literally, so when we left C21, we ended up having to go work at my kitchen table. And we were not prepared to have to leave and open our doors. And so we did that. And then me and Kyle and Emily and Britt and Toby and a couple other of us, we went in and we painted the walls and somehow got furniture and just threw an office together. And it was just this tiny little office. And
you had to gut the whole thing?
Well, no, we just painted it.
Oh, just that
went
one.
in and did some painting and things like that. But
the now building, you had to do a whole
we literally redid that whole building from top to bottom.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you.
If anybody's ever been in it or driven by it.
It was so bad. There was wallpaper on like every single wall. Like, thank you, Lord, that we have such incredible agents that are willing to put in hard work, even when it's not their own building.
Right.
They all showed up and they grinded. We had 1 month from the day that we closed until the day that we had to be out of the building. We had to remodel the first 2/3 of the building in 1 month.
Oh, wow.
And so I don't even know how
Plus
we did
working.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus working. So I don't know how we did it, but I'm so grateful for all the agents because everybody pitched in. And yes, it's beautiful. My contractor, Tyler, he is also a saint. Him and I jive so much. I'm super picky in design. I think you know that. I am opinionated and I know what I like. And Tyler, like I can cast a vision to him and he'll make it 10 times better. Okay. And so I felt like
same vision, same.
Yeah, that's how it was with the office. I'd be like, here's what I'm thinking. And I'd come in and be like, you nailed it. Like so good.
Is the fire pole still, did they have a fire pole in that building?
I don't know. There's a big bell.
Oh.
But we can't find like the string or cord thing to ring it, so I don't know. Maybe we'll find it someday. Yeah.
Office scavenger hunt.
Yes.
That'd be hilarious.
Yes.
That's funny. So then when it was just, your team with that many, how did you guys grow into the other individuals that are now a part of KW?
Well, it wasn't actually just my team that went over. So Toby came with us, and
all individuals.
Toby was individual. Britt came as an individual. So Britt left my team and went on her own while the transition happened. And then we had our team. And then after that, Shelly and Jen came. And, oh, my gosh, my brain is not functioning, but there was a handful of us, I think like 10 or 12 of us that ended up in that space to the point where we were like bursting at the seams.
Yeah.
And so that's why we ended up having to find somewhere else to go.
To get more building space.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you do any recruiting?
I would say call it recruiting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously I think this is where it's hard because you're going to recruit if you open a business, but it wasn't from that. It was about the fact that we were really, truly going to change people's lives. Like the amount of money that me and Kyle alone were able to save by opening the office literally replaced his income. And so I knew when I was going to do Keller Williams that I was going to change other people's lives. And so in a way I felt it was like this internal battle because I truly to my core did not want to step on toes. But I also felt it was unfair to not give everyone the knowledge of this opportunity that they could also have. Because remember, I didn't want to leave in the first place.
Right.
I was very loyal.
Right.
And so being this tug of war of like loyalty and you guys, there's this new model where it's going to allow you. I think the difference is like we knew that if we offered this to people, they got more time with their family and they could work less. And like that's the true model. Like that's the best case for everybody. And so yes, we recruited, but with good intentions. It's so hard because you never want to ruffle feathers, but you also are like, we have this model that is going to be life-changing. Like we want to share it with everybody.
Right.
And so, yes.
That's kind of how that turned into.
Yes. And so then we started kind of having some agents, and then agents were recruiting because they felt like it was they beneficial.
Heard about it maybe and wanted to get more information on it. Yeah, absolutely. With your, then let's say the KW stuff, did you have to go up and do sort of training stuff in Spokane where their headquarters is at, or did
Not
you?
Really.
Not really.
No.
They just kind of.
And that's the other thing, like even with recruiting is when we had people we wanted in the office, I would give them to the CEO or the team leader up there, and he would come down and have those conversations. And so that was kind of nice because, I'm like, felt so in between. But so really I had the support of the leadership in Spokane. If we would need something, they would come down and they would make regular trips down or
they come once a month, right?
Now they do.
Oh, good.
It was 5 years ago, so I don't remember how much they were coming down. But they were really helpful in getting things up and running.
Good. So, and supportive, I'm sure.
Yeah. But like they were always hosting classes, and we did go up there for like actual trainings.
Right.
Like they hosted a one thing class. They do a business planning class. They do this thing called Bold, where they put you through the 7-week course of like how to launch your business and have it, take off. They have Ignite. They have all these different classes, but you choose to go to those. You don't have to go to those.
I went to one with Brittany at.
Oh, you did?
It was the financial one.
Oh, nice.
And I was the only lender. I was very like, oh, this is so cool. But then they were going through like their number. They're like, well, what's your numbers? What do you need how many houses do you need to close? And I'm just like, well, I'm in a whole different number category thing. But it was it's still good to know your numbers.
Yeah.
It's so true.
So
and
important.
And being able to see, and feel that both sides, because we work in this coexisting run
together.
We do.
Yeah.
But way different in
so
terms
different.
of, documents and the information and all the things that we can't really cross over to each other, but it's just fun to see that different side of how you guys like need to work this way to be able to function with taxes and everything else involved. And so it was cool to be able to go to one of those classes.
I love that. Yep, they usually open them up to KW agents outside of the offices.
There was a handful from different places too.
Yeah,
so
that's what I love.
The history of KW, do you know much about where they originated from? Are they only Northwest?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's the biggest real estate company in the United States.
Got it.
So, but it was wild because we'd never really, again, we're 20 years behind.
Yes.
So we didn't know a lot when we opened them. So,
right.
Yeah. But
with
it's wonderful.
The office and the growth and is there plans for the office itself to expand, or is that the homestead, the firehouse?
Oh, we still have tons of space to grow.
You do?
The office it's a big office. When you drive by, it is so deceiving.
So deceiving.
Like, you think it's this little tiny building,
One
and it
floor.
just keeps going and going and going, and there's a basement, and so we have tons of room to expand.
Oh, good.
And we have what's kind of fun is we have what's called drop zones. So if agents don't want to have a desk and they want to still come in and work, they can work in the drop zones. We have it all set up with desks and plugins and all the things.
Oh, cool.
And then a lot of agents choose to work from home. I feel like COVID really changed things. And so a lot, like I said, a lot are working from home. So there's a lot of office space left. And those agents still come in. We have our weekly meetings on Tuesdays and, different events we have going on right now. Our sweet Jen Schubert, she's a saint from above. She is hosting what's called book club. It's actually not a book club. It started that way. She started a book, and it talked about, I think it's called Perfect Over Present or something like that, and just really like how it applies to your life and just being a good human and how you show up on all things. So she has continued doing that. So that is like one of the most impactful thing we have going on in the office, thanks to Jen. And we really come in and like work through emotions and all those things. And right now it's mostly women in there, but it's a lot of the office is coming.
That's
and so
great.
There's just so many little things that people, even if they're not in office, they're still coming in for it.
Yeah.
So
that's so, and I know the pie event, that always is.
That's actually for just the bean team. But
how long has that been going on for now?
Oh my goodness. I literally couldn't even tell you. So long that I've lost track.
Really?
Yes.
Oh gosh.
And we with the pie event, we do some years in person and some years we do a drive-through. It really just kind of depends on the year and how things are going.
And, what's the most number of pies that you've had to buy?
Oh my gosh, this is an Erica question.
I know.
Because
the
she
numbers.
does all the ordering of the pies.
Numbers.
I think, well, you got to remember, like, even if, like, one pie is one household. So when we have the event, I mean, we've had upwards of, to the point where Lindsay Crick is like, you cannot have your event here anymore. It is unsafe. The fire marshal's going to come in and we're going to get in trouble. But pie handouts, I don't know, like 200. So
much pie.
I don't know.
I've seen the picture. Was it last year or the year before?
2 pallets.
On the pallets. Yeah. I just love seeing all that.
Yeah.
And how, though, it's really I feel like a huge thing to look forward to.
Oh, no, we look forward to it every year.
I love
Our
it.
team loves to do all kinds of events. So.
But it's memorable even for your clients.
Yeah.
And being the bought the house. Now I get a pie every year, and it's like, yep, I'm a part of that.
Make sure you are SVP.
I love it. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Then with the office, is there anything that you guys have that you do open? Like, do you guys do a client appreciation for the whole office, or is that more of an individual?
It's kind of more of an individual thing, but we've done like business after hours and things like that. Our office is more focused on like community involvement and getting together as an office and relationships and giving back, just like that kind of stuff. So as an office, our sweet Heather, she really works on organizing the different things that we can show up to. And we understand that not everybody can show up to everything. So if we can plan some events and as many show up as possible, like we love that. We'll be doing Hangout with Turkey soon. And we're trying to coordinate a date to go serve food at, I think it was either the food bank or Salvation Army or something. She's working on all that.
Oh, cool.
But just, I think being together as an office and doing that type of stuff is important.
Together,
to us.
yeah.
Yep. So,
when they close the door, is it in May? When is it that you guys do you close the door and then you volunteer all day?
Oh,
what is
yes,
that?
yes. KW Red Day.
Yes.
So that's all over all of Keller Williams, all over
nationwide.
The world. Yeah. So for one day a year, all of Keller Williams closes down and gives back to the community. And that is so much fun. We always have like a sponsor that will bring lunch, and then we just go give back to whoever needs us in town. And
do you decide?
Impactful.
Do you get to decide what?
So we have we've had different groups within the office that work on different things. So like one group will work on office fun, and one will work on community involvement. And so actually Britt has headed that up a lot. that specific event, KW Red Day, and figuring out, she'll just communicate with different companies around town and be like, where's the need? And like, do you have a need for this many of us? Because it's not just, the agents we have, 35 of us, it's assistants and all of that too. Yes. So there ends up being like 40 plus of us. And so we can do a lot in a day. We've cleaned up Modi Park. We have helped down at, is it Opportunities? Is that the one on Snake River?
Yeah.
Yep. There. We've done all kinds of different things.
I thought one year, well, maybe it wasn't in that Red Day, but it was you guys helped get rid of all the Christmas trees.
Oh, that's, so every year we do that too.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I feel like I've definitely seen our neighbors just chuck them out, and then you guys just come and pick them up.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
So, we have a wonderful, wonderful office. Like, I definitely, I can feel the difference in the office as well. I think that we really I feel like everyone has each other's back, and there's not any, like, I'm coming after you, you're coming after me. I think we all are there to learn and grow and really cheer each other on. And it doesn't matter if you're on my team, you're in the whole office. I still feel that way with the whole office. Like, we just have really, really incredible agents and humans in our office, and I am so grateful for that.
Is your title management?
I'm the managing broker. And I guess you could say I'm the CEO because it's my company. But I'm not the designated broker, so I should clarify that. So when we first opened, I was the designated broker, and that's just, again, too many hats to play. And being a designated broker, you have to be super knowledgeable on every single legal thing that's going on up one side and down the other. And to be honest, that's not Jessica Bean's wheelhouse, like, at all. That does not make me thrive. And one thing I have learned over the years is, like, I'm not going to do things that don't fill my cup and take, just deplete me. Right. And that was depleting me because my phone was ringing all the time and I wasn't able to do the things I loved. And so the great part about Keller Williams is we actually have 3 designated brokers. So we have 2 for the state of Washington and 1 for the state of Idaho. And although they aren't in the office, they're literally a phone call away. Like, you can call any of them and they're all available. And to be honest, they're more available than I was available. And so the managing broker, like, I figure, like, me and Heather run the office meetings and we figure out what's going on for events throughout the year. We make the decisions on which agents are welcome to join the office. We do the interviews for the agents coming on the office. We meet with agents. We do so many things. I just don't answer the legal questions. I will. As a managing broker, I can.
You can.
But I prefer they use the ones that is their full-time job with Keller Williams.
Right.
They get paid to be the designated broker. And so it's really, in my opinion, it's a win-win to have 3 people available legal-wise all the time versus 1 person available. So,
and with our, very unique part of where we're at, we have both states so close. You have to know both entities. So I'm sure
so different.
Oh, God, no. Don't even get me started.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
But I mean, like, the multiple hats, and like you said, how could you do all of that plus function as a normal human?
No, you don't do anything well when you do too many things. And so, again, that's just the point I'm at in my life. We're really trying to leverage and delegate and put the right people in the right spots so that people are served at the highest level instead of feeling like Jessica isn't showing up well to anything. And so really that's kind of the focus with the office. And Heather is such a blessing, and Branda was too. Oh my gosh, we love Branda, and we're so sad she left us. She's a saint.
I know.
The best. But Heather is the perfect replacement for her because Heather has a huge heart.
Oh, she does.
She worked in the healthcare industry before. She knows how to serve people. She knows how to solve problems. And she is, every day you'll walk in the door and she'll be like, what can I do to help you today? And like, how can I help you with your business? Or what can I do to serve you? I mean, it's as little as I was like, oh, I'm really craving sugar-free pumpkin creamer the other day. And you cannot find sugar-free pumpkin creamer anywhere. And she comes to the office with sugar-free pumpkin creamer. I'm like,
she made it happen.
I'm like, girl, you just show up. Like, I mean, she is like, I will do anything for all of you guys to succeed in your daily business. And so she is my leverage for the office. I am still there and I'm still available, but she will literally help you with anything you need. And so that's really just what I'm trying to do. And like with the team, I am there, but Kyle is literally in the trenches in the room with them every day. I'm the CEO, so I'm in a separate room with them. He's making the calls with them. He's watching their numbers. He's doing all those things. And again, I'm still the CEO of the office and the CEO of the Bean team, but I'm leveraging these people so that the team and the office have a great experience and somebody available all the time versus me being everywhere all the time.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So now with like the different, structure that you've kind of built for yourself.
Yes.
What is this turning into?
So my biggest passion in life, I have two of them. I figured this out recently. Two of them. One, leading and changing people's lives, like 100%. And then number two is real estate investing. And so right now, what I am doing is I'm kind of dividing my days. And so I spend a little more than half of my day investing in my team and what they're doing. And then I spend a little less than half of my day working on real estate investing. And so I think what I was struggling with the most is like, I knew that my passion in life is to be a real estate investor. And I can see the power of how real estate investing can literally transform anybody's life in such a short period of time if you're willing to put in the work. And I can see it. I've already seen what it has done for Kyle and I have really big goals in that. But when you're in the trenches all day putting out a million fires and you're not narrowing your focus, that leaves no time for your passion. And so that taking that sabbatical and taking that time off allowed me to go, how do I have to structure my days in my life to make sure that the one thing that literally is my fuel, my investing, and the other thing of me leading, like how do I divide my time in a way that all my cups are being filled and I don't feel depleted? And so now doing that, like I am kind of doing investing with my friends, the Cawthorns. I love them. They're the sweetest. We are actually in what's called Man on a Mission in Coeur d'Alene together. So every Thursday we drive to Coeur d'Alene at 4:30 in the morning for this class. It's a entrepreneurial class. But so I actually have Brad working with me, and we are not for me, with me. We are working to find investments together. And so today we found one of the most exciting investments, and we are so excited about it. But now we're running deals every day and looking at the numbers. And in this market, it's hard to find a deal. So you're running like deal after deal after deal, trying to find a deal and trying to make something work. But how I was doing it before, I didn't have time to do that. And so,
or the learning behind it.
Yeah. So now I'm just really, splitting my day, filling my cup, and really just filling my cup with what fills my cup, leading and investing. So
doing it.
Yeah.
That's the goals that you have. Well, was there a point maybe where you felt like that drowning and you're like, I don't know how to hold this all. Hold it all in your hand,
If I'm backing up a little bit and being super vulnerable right now, I was just like in such a hard spot, like trying to learn how to run the office and be everything for that, and having a team that I really didn't know what I was doing and trying to figure that out. But really my heart was in investing and I wasn't doing that. And I felt like I was drowning. And do you know Jenny Howerton? She is, again, a blessing from above. So if you haven't had a session with her, you have to.
I've heard.
She changed my life. And I tell her this. She hates that I say this, but I've had two pivotal moments in my life, and she was one of them. So I went to Jenny, and I was like, I'm struggling. Like, I walked into her studio, and I feel like I was choking because I was just, like, almost in tears. Like, I was so lost. Like, I told you I didn't have time to think.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't even process, like, what do I want next? Where am I going? How do I?
You couldn't even put it into words.
Yeah. So I had a session with Jenny, and she did tapping and Reiki, and I can't remember what the third thing was, but she did this tapping session on me. And she basically was like, okay, so how she does it is she just like asks you these questions that are vague, but it's funny because you are triggered very specifically in your head, knowing exactly what the things are. So she basically was like, she put me through the session. She goes, I want you to envision 3 boxes. And she was like, I want you to envision boxes. How many are there? And I'm like, 3. And I knew exactly what they were. And it was those 3 things: Keller Williams, my team, and real estate investing. And she's like, how do they make you feel? Or how big are they? And I told her how big they were. She's like, what color are they? How do they make you feel? And she just like made me work through the process of like, what are these things in my life and how are they making me feel and how do they connect with each other and all these things. And it was literally a game changer. And in that conversation with her is where the whole taking a sabbatical came to life. The things I spoke in that session are things that I just compressed for so long. And I spoke them, which I felt lighter, but then I was like, Jenny, I have this feeling in my heart that I'm supposed to take a sabbatical and I don't even know how to tell my husband. I was like, he's going to freak out. So this one session literally changed my life because it helped me like see the different boxes I have in my life and how they're affecting me and how they're making me feel. And I realized that I had no choice but to tell my husband, I have to take this time off and I have to be able to think and process and like, this was who I am and what I've done and how everyone knows me, but that's not what I want. And so I have to allow myself the space to like reconfigure all of this in my head and be able to have a game plan for how to execute it moving forward. So kudos to Ginny because she literally changed my life. If it wasn't for that one session, I would probably still be extremely miserable and not knowing what I'm doing, not knowing processed.
How to measure what you want even.
Yes.
It seemed like, when you talking about this whole journey that you've kind of gone through and not knowing like the amount that affected you, like the investment stuff, the leadership stuff, and being able to have that like on the back burner, but how to move that forward.
Yeah. And people don't talk about, I think that's the thing is my biggest pet peeve when people are like, it must be nice. It must be nice.
Oof.
Must be nice. Because
a punch.
Because I'm like, you have no clue
idea.
The blood, sweat, and tears. A couple years ago, because leadership and learning how to grow businesses, it's not for the faint of heart. I was so sick. Like I was at the doctor all the time having every test done and they could not figure out what was wrong with me. And it's awful what stress can do to you. And really I was physically sick. And I don't take back any of that because if I hadn't gone through that and if I hadn't done things wrong or made mistakes or approached things incorrectly, I would have never learned. And so I think all those hard times, like I think like going through those and then going to Jenny and then taking the time, it's like this whole evolution to like such an awesome 10 years that I feel like is coming. And like,
good.
Just
what a breath of fresh air.
It's going to be amazing. So,
and when you're in those hard times or in that feeling and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to know what, being, what's that fulfilled maybe? I don't know, but to be able to now look back in that where you're at now to how you felt before and like if you were to go and see yourself, you'd probably like give her a hug.
I really would.
You would be like,
but you know what? I think somebody said something not very long ago and it like rang true. I just told my team this the other day. It's like, if you're not experiencing hard, you are not growing. If you are just content and happy and just at peace 24/7, you're not moving your life. You're not moving the needle. And it's like, I actually have had to change my mindset that like, and I was telling my team this, I'm like, if you're experiencing hard, I don't want you to be depressed or down or whatever. Like, let's talk it out and let's like find the positive in it because hard is good. Hard is really good. And if you can lean into hard is good, not hard is depressing and miserable, you're going to go so far. And so I love when people are having a struggle or a hard time. And it's like, let's work through it. Let's get through it. Like there's something great on the other side of hard. So
I love that you're finding these tools from yourself to help others. It's just a whole realm of where it started to now.
Yeah.
And so I love that.
Yeah. It's great.
The investing stuff, is there like a risk tolerance that you have or meet or try to avoid?
So here's the problem is that I'll go for anything. And actually, this is where Kyle Bean and Jessica Bean are so different because I have all the risk tolerance and he's like, slow your roll. He's like, I want to see the numbers. And I'm like, no, let's go for it. Over the last couple of years, I know a lot of people have seen, like, I've been at different events and different things, and I invested in a real estate mastermind where I went to 4 different locations throughout the year, and I learned about investing, and I was around people doing really big things. And to be honest, that's like my favorite thing because I love you, Lewiston, Idaho, but there's not very many people doing really big things. Mm-hmm. And so to put yourself in a room where people are just doing crazy, awesome, unimaginable things that you've never been exposed to is like, it fills my cup. So I've been going to these things and investing a significant amount of money to be in these rooms because that's what changes your life. And so being in those rooms and seeing what people are doing, you can spend X amount of time doing something small, or you can spend X amount of time doing something big. The first X and the second X take the same amount of time.
That's so
it really has to do with, like, are you going to go big or are you going to go small? And so for the last however many years, I feel like I've played really small. And I feel like a lot of people around me would be like, you haven't played small. Like, you have Airbnbs and you have commercial property, you have rentals, and I flip houses and stuff like that. But in the scheme of things, that's really small. And so now,
compared to what you've heard,
compared to what I've been exposed to and what I want to do.
Yes.
And so now, investing more with Brad and Amy, we got together, we defined our buy box, and we are really pivoting more towards big storage unit complexes and RV parks and experiential stays and big apartment complexes. Like, we want to go much bigger, faster.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people see those numbers and they freak out. But I think what people don't realize is if you can master private money and hard money, and if you know commercial lending, like, it's actually a lot easier to get that money than you think it is. And so for me, it's like, it's equal. It's like, I can save money and have a down payment, or I can leverage other people's money and go do something really big. And so that's the line I'm at right now. Is like, I'm ready to go do something really big. My goal is that I want to replace my personal income with passive income as fast as physically possible. And I want to do it, and then I want to teach all the agents on my team how to do it too, the ones that want to.
Yeah.
Because that's the ultimate goal in life. I want to show up to work because I want to, not because I have to.
Need to.
I want to show up because I'm pouring into somebody, not because I need a paycheck.
Absolutely.
And so I'm like, my risk tolerance is how fast can I get there? If I go bigger, I can get there faster.
Right. So, I love that. Well, I like the whole opposites attract. And
and my husband's like, literally today, I was like, Brad, can you get the spreadsheet ready? We got to bring Kyle in here because he has to see the numbers. Because Brad and I are like, let's write the offer. And I'm like, Kyle has to see the numbers. So
that's so good.
Yeah.
So with these big, in the realm of how, the commercial real estate or real estate talk and investing talk, more people feel like more people are coming into the valley, like an overflow. Have you noticed that with how things are turning?
Well, I would say when things were super hot, it was interesting because there's been like this evolution of my real estate career. For many years, I could tell you how many deals I was going to do in every month throughout the year and where they were going to come from and all of that. And then when everything let loose and interest rates dropped really low, I went from having like probably 90 to 100% of my clients being passive referral based to like 50% and I don't know these exact numbers, but I mean, it felt like 50% coming from out of town. And I had never experienced anything like that before.
Right.
So that was wild. Like, it was an influx of people. But I would say since rates have started going up, I haven't seen as many people coming in as we were before. I'm not feeling that like I was feeling that before.
Sure. Yeah. So. Well, I mean, and that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But being able to, like you said, expand apartments, expand RV parks, you know, and to have that more space for that to happen.
I don't know how much more room there is here.
I know. Well, and
but that's the thing for us is to clarify, like, we would love to build relationships with investors in Lewiston, Idaho. And actually, that's part of our mission, mine and Brad's, is how many people can we build really great relationships with and be able to build the relationship so that when they're ready to sell, they can sell to someone local, not someone out of here.
Right.
I think that's a huge bonus. But for Brad and I, Brad actually drove to Northern California last week. They went on a big road trip, but he went specifically to this RV park to evaluate it for us.
Really?
So we are not just looking in Lewiston, Idaho. Wow. I mean, we're open to anywhere. We would love to stay in the Pacific Northwest, but if it makes sense, it makes sense.
Exactly.
And so we'll get on a plane if we have to.
Cool.
We'll do whatever.
How cool.
So, yeah.
Well, and here, community, you want to be community driven, but, we don't have much in terms of like shopping and restaurant options. So it's, I don't know, where do you see that in terms of like more growth? Have you noticed any?
I think that's a little unpredictable at the moment.
Right? I'm
curious. I get so excited seeing like Old Navy come in and things like that, but I just
to sustain, I guess.
To be honest, I'm a little undereducated on what I think is actually going to happen, so I don't feel confident speaking to that.
Sure.
I would love to see that growth happen in our town. I would love it. I just don't know if it's going to.
I have somewhere before when Target, I think, was just getting put in like Moscow, and they were like, well, it wouldn't sustain about like with everyone's income. Like they do this big percentage, and it's like if it's below this, then they can't. And it's like, but what if more people come in and then we're drowning with like, nothing.
Yeah,
so
I'm not sure.
It's just my personal
I would love a Target,
question.
But wouldn't every woman?
Yeah, absolutely.
And mother.
I love that.
Keep kids close.
Yes. Is there an opportunity for anybody to reach out to you in this whole leadership, like even maybe not even with KW or just
I love this question.
A personal growth?
Yeah. So one of the things that has actually like really filled my cup, I would say even in the last 6 months, I've had multiple entrepreneurial spirited women reach out to me and just ask me to get together. Oh. And like they just want another entrepreneurial spirited woman to bounce their ideas off of and like get reassured. Feedback and all the things. And I have to tell you, like that totally fills my cup because I wish I would have had that. And I wish that I knew that there was women out there or men, honestly men out there too, that I could sit down with and have a conversation and be like, here's what I'm thinking. This is a safe space. Like, am I on the right path or be more of a mentor? And I have my cup has been really filled. And some of the women that have come to me, to be honest, nobody has any clue what they're thinking about doing, but I'm very excited for them. And the possibilities of what they might bring to this town. And that totally fills my cup. The other thing is I've had so many people reach out and ask if I will do business or life coaching. And I feel like that's on the horizon. I'm just not there yet. I have been contemplating maybe doing like some online courses or things like that where I can give back. But my team and my investing are the most important, and my kids and my husband are the most important thing right now. And so like putting my eggs there and knowing that I would love to be a coach and a mentor and all those things. I'm still open to, just being that person, having coffee with, things like that. Yeah. But I would love to do something bigger with that down the road. As far as like KW, always like if anyone is thinking about, looking for a new brokerage or just getting into real estate, like truly from the bottom of my heart, like our office is God Family Business. And I really, truly think like we have the setup where family is you have the ability to make your family first. And financially, like it has been such a blessing for myself and everybody that's joined our office. And I want to share it with anybody and everybody that has good intentions. I think like that's the other thing is like, I really want good, morally sound people that do the right thing. And so those are the type of people we're looking for. And then as far as the Bean team, we've had a lot of change, and we just brought on 3 pretty recent agents. And
so there's 8 total now?
There's 8 of us, total. Maybe a 9th coming.
Ooh.
And so that the last couple have been a little unexpected. And so we have a plan always. We always have a plan and a goal. And the goal was not to necessarily grow with those many people that fast. And so we really want these people to be good and sound. But if anyone ever was interested in joining our team, the conversation is always there. we're not at this moment, we're not actively looking for people, but I would love to have those conversations. And down the road, maybe middle of next year, like we will be intentionally looking for more people to join our team.
Right. So any opportunity to talk to you or you're available.
With our team, I think the thing is we want to grow, but I don't want to grow to the point where I can't have an impact on your life. And I don't want to be to the point where I don't know you and what your needs are. So it's this balancing act of like, I want to grow, but I don't want to grow too much. So
finding that balance.
Yep.
And being able to
making sure everyone's served.
Yes. So. And yourself.
And myself.
Good.
Which I'm getting good at.
Good. I'm so glad. I'm loving how, this kind of turned into, I feel very inspired. And I've just been talking to you for a little bit, but I really appreciate you coming on here, Jess. Absolutely. It fills my cup.
Oh,
and
thank you.
And anybody wanting to be on the podcast, it's just filling my, I guess I didn't think that my cup would be filled this fast into starting it. So this is, one of those things where I've organically kind of turned it, into something.
I love it. You should always listen to your heart. Like,
yes.
I think about the people in my life. I'm like, if you have a calling and something's tugging at your soul, you need to listen. I think about Jessica with the Styled Porch. She told me she was going to make flowers, and I'm like, huh? And then all of a sudden, she has like the most successful flower company. I'm like, girl, you listen to your soul.
I know.
So I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
You listen to your soul. Nobody else is doing this.
No,
and
they aren't.
You took a leap of faith, and this is, I feel like, exactly what we need. And so kudos to you.
Thank
I'm proud
you.
of you.
Oh, don't. You're going to make me blush. Well, thank you. Let's cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers to the end of this.
Yay.
Thank you.
Yes.